threat. And one of the things that can't be attacked is your self-custody Bitcoin. And one of the things that can be attacked is the ETF. Can't be exposed to that. That's my view. It's not a good idea. And by the way, that'll hit MSTR too. It'll probably hit other stuff as well. Friends and enemies, welcome back. Canadian Bitcoiners podcast.
Friends and enemies, welcome to the CBP. Wanna be better informed? Listen to Len and Joey. Sponsors taken care of right off the top. Oh, Bitcoin and easy DNS. The media is feeding the slop. It doesn't matter what topics discussed. Quality entertainment and information you can trust.
That's being planned or at least discussed. You know, we're not going to allow people to buy
entertainment and information you can trust. Send the guys some value, boost them with some stats. Bitcoin is a scarcity asset. I mean, it's just a fact. Geopolitical, national, down to the local cloud.
Friends and enemies, we are gathered here on this somber occasion to mourn the loss of all our riches. My name is Joey. That's Len. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you.
Are you poor?
I'm more poor than I've been over the last 365 days by the looks of things. I haven't looked at the price, but I think we're red on the last 365 days. I don't know if we're red year to date, but we're red on the last 365 days.
I'm curious. The last time we were under 100K was in like June or something. We talked about it last week. But
yeah.
You know what, Joey? We were down to 75K in April.
I ain't worried. I can believe actually, because there's a lot of newcomers to the space, but I do laugh at the number of people who feel like this is a disastrous price move in Bitcoin. When if you are a 2017 ethos era Bitcoiner, this is nothing. Even if you're a 2020 Bitcoiner, people remember these dips. And I was watching Fred Krueger, who put out a video today, I think as a form of therapy for himself. It's either today or yesterday, but I watched it this morning while I was on the bike. And he made a couple of good points in the video, as much as I disagree with some of the things he says, talking about how every bull market is like marred by multiple 20% drops and sometimes 25% drops and greater, 30%, 40% over the course of 7 days, 3 days, 12 days, 2 weeks. What are you worried about? Why are people freaking out? Why are people talking about selling and coming back? When we reclaim this moving average, reclaim that wedge, reclaim I tweeted today, Bitcoin will treat you well if you are patient. It is a global liquidity suck at a moment where we are about to go full like cock out global liquidity pumping. And yeah, it's down a bit, but you're already 25 or 30% off the high. Are you do you really think it's going to go another 50% from here? What number would scare you? If nothing's going to scare you off, then why are you not buying more? Why are you not increasing your DCA? Why are you not working for Bitcoin? Why are you not doing all these things? Our sponsor, Bull Bitcoin, putting out a product today, the Recover Bull. And these guys are working through the bear markets, man. Me and you
don't expect them to do anything else.
I know.
Now, before we go any further,
yeah.
We should talk about the sponsors, because this would be good contact to talk about after.
I'm going downhill. Easy DNS, best place for you to buy your domain, host your domain, port your domain. Mark, one of the best guys out there. He's doing a lot of the Lord's work over at Easy DNS. He's been getting paid in Bitcoin. He's been taking Bitcoin payments for a long time, and he'll be working through the bear market, as will you, if you use Easy DNS to host your website. He'll protect your data and your customers' data, your clients' data, your mailing list with DomainSure and Easy Mail. Don't have to worry about that. If you're a Bitcoiner, lots of options, virtual private server stuff. If you want to run a Bitcoin node, Nostr Relay, all available there. Cheap, easy, and of course, you'll be more than satisfied with the service you get from Mark. EasyDNS.com, CBP Media is the code. You get half off your first round of buys. Don't forget as well that holding domains has proven to be also a relatively lucrative asset over time if you can be patient with those. I'm not suggesting you do it, but there's worse places to spend your money for sure.
Well, it's good that they have the ability or the option to start spending your Bitcoin over there. But how are you going to get some Bitcoin to spend over at EasyDNS? You're going to have to buy it. Or work for it. But one place to buy it, and you can sell it too if you're paper hands these days, is Bull Bitcoin, right? Let's be honest, they're still in operation with this price drop. Wasn't really that much of a drop if you ask me. But Bull Bitcoin's still there and offering you some new products like Recoverable. And I can't really talk much about it. I wanted to learn a little more about it and actually use it, but I haven't because I'm so busy. but it's still a new option available for people out there who want to have a way to recover their Bitcoin seeds, and it gives them flexibility with easy, secure backups and so forth. But nonetheless, what else could you do with Bull Bitcoin aside from buying and selling? Well, you could pay your bills with them. You could send money to somebody, and lots of different options. Look, they're available in different countries: Canada, Western Europe, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Argentina, so forth. They keep expanding as people want their services. They're non-custodial. This is what you want in exchange. These guys, they understand what it is to provide you good service. They are the best in the game. Check them out. If you have not yet opened an account, what the heck are you waiting for? Use our code below. And by doing that, all your buys and sells will be a little bit cheaper for the rest of your life. So do that while you can.
For the rest of your life. For the rest of your life. I love it.
There may be a day when Bull Bitcoin may not be there because they just made enough and they'll pack it up, right? Pack up shop and, right?
You'll only be able to catch the guys at Gibby's Steakhouse in Montreal. Okay, boosts, shall we?
Yeah, only 3 notable boosts this week. God's Deeth, with respect to your SIPs. What's that name? Sip and Rip. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. My pleasure.
Top W Cone, he sends in for 250 sats. He says, my home state with a face palm. And the story that he puts in, when he actually sends a story for us to check out quickly, it's Kentucky officials forced to remind residents they can't vote in New York City and Virginia elections. They were reminding people they don't have elections today. So people in Kentucky, they wanted to vote in both the New York City and Virginia elections, but they were unable to do so because obviously they're not in New York City or Virginia. Still, people really wanted to vote. And
well, I know CBP was going to charter a bus down to New York, right, for the vote, but we never ended up doing it.
We could have tipped the scales.
Yeah, we were close.
But we didn't like Cuomo enough to really do that. So
he's a paisan, but he's not my kind of paisan.
He's not likable in my opinion. Anyways, Hammertown OG 2,500 sats. Says Canadian Bitcoiners should rejoice at the reduced taxation on yachts. Now that the tax has been reduced, I could buy that boat I've always wanted. I hope I don't lose my coins in a boating accident. Keep up the good work, fellas. Love the show. Yeah, I'm not going to suggest people go out to buy a boat. If you are, maybe it's a good opportunity to.
Everybody knows what boat stands for, Len. Boat stands for what? Do you know? I think I've told you before. Bust out another 1,000. That's what boat stands for. You never want to be the guy who. Yeah, you don't want to be the guy who owns a boat. You want to be the guy who knows the guy with the boat, but you don't want to be the guy with the boat. One of my college roommates, deceased now, unfortunately, R.I.P. Kyle, God rest your soul, buddy. But I remember being on a boat with his father and him. We were probably 20 at the time, and we were going to. This was in Newmarket, so whatever body of water is around Newmarket, one of these like little bays. We were going to see his girlfriend's daughters. His daughters were our age, I think, a little younger than us, a little older than us. I hope Mac's girlfriend's not listening to this because we were still together at the time. I was out there wild. And anyway, and I'll never forget, he was probably 3 beers deep. Kyle was driving the boat, and he goes, you know what, boys? Women love boats. I'll never forget him saying that to me. I don't know that it's necessarily true in all cases, but I do know chicks love being on a boat. That's a sure thing.
I thought you were going to bring up a Ray Emery story.
No, Kevin. What's that guy's name? The Shark Tank guy. His wife crashed a boat, killed a guy. I shouldn't laugh.
Kevin O'Leary. Yeah,
O'Leary. Yeah. Maybe he was driving it. Maybe she was driving it. There's some controversy about that. We don't know.
Yeah, but there's no connection between that and Ray Emery.
No.
It's just mental illness, right? I think that's what caused that. Yeah. Rest in peace. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Want to go right into it?
Let's do some housekeeping first. I'll level with you, Len. The reason I had an 8 o'clock stop is because I was going to go on Phil Bach's podcast at 8, and he couldn't do it tonight, so we're doing it on Friday. So Phil Bach, B-A-K, you may remember he was on this show before. He was the chair of the NASDAQ for a time, and we had him on, and I'll be on his podcast on Friday afternoon. Len and I are going to be on Rock Paper Bitcoin in a week, next Saturday. Those guys, stick in the head, record at 8 a.m. Eastern on a Saturday. So we're going to be there, coffee for me anyway, in hand, and hopefully an empty bowel. And we're going to talk to Fundamentals and Business Cat about what's going on in their side of the world. Yeah, I think that's all the housekeeping. Do we have anything planned on Wednesday this week? I don't know that we do or not. I talked to Twan on the weekend. Twan, when he's done his install tours, is going to come to the studio here, CBP HQ. We're going to record something for everybody. He's got a lot to talk about on the mining side. some great stuff that I just never considered. For a guy who's got such a polished product, he's always researching ways to make it better, and he wants to share what he's up to with everyone who's been patronizing him. You guys are buying tons of these miners. I cannot recommend the miners enough. I've been running mine, Len, like so hot over the last few days with the window open in this room because it's been cold. Unbelievable. It's just so nice. So nice. The thing runs so efficiently, even at like super high settings, because it's starting to cool down. It has been awesome. So if you haven't got one, talk to him for sure.
Yeah,
and
CRA's listening, that he's in solo mining. He's not in a pool where he's collecting sats every day, because that would be wrong, right? And he hasn't yet solo mine and
I haven't
block.
yeah,
So
I haven't.
maybe one day. And if he does do that, of course he'll report.
You would know. One of our listeners, actually, I will name him since he was on the show. Dr. Zarabian sent me a message the other day, and he just got a miner from Tuan, and Tuan went over to his place and installed it. And then a couple of weeks later, Len, or a week later, his furnace blew. So guess what? He moved that miner to his kitchen and was able to stay comfortable in a time of distress. He's got a couple of kids and a wife, and everyone was happy. And while that miner was running and heating, he was hashing too. Can't beat it. Telling you, man, this is, you guys, once you see these things in your house, you're not gonna think about anything else when it comes to mining. This is going to be the only thing that you care
This isn't
about.
the segment where he blown, though. Like, it's later in the show when we do that. This is more of fluffing right now. Yeah. So yeah. So
all right, let's hop into some news. Where do you want to start?
The price. You mean you didn't want one with your price rant, because that seems to be the big story of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing a little research today, trying to confirm some things and think about some things, and I just think people are overreacting to the price movement in general, because the fundamentals have not changed. If anything, they've gotten stronger. We're seeing, on the cultural side from politicians all over the Western world, including here in Canada, which will be reinforced tonight in all likelihood in our budget vote. There is there's a necessity here for borrowing. And if you look at the 10-year rates here in Canada, they're starting to spike. What does that mean? It means that no one's going to be buying our debt on the market, but we will have to monetize it. So when people talk about printing QE, twist, whatever, like that's what they mean. They mean central banks buying debt and monetizing debt. Now, that said, it's easy to look at the price and think, man, I missed the boat. And like I tweeted today, you and a lot of people, especially when we first started this show, a lot of people used to come onto this show, or I would go on other shows and I would get messages, and we would look on Reddit, when we were posting all our episodes to Reddit to try and, gain some traction. Shout out to All Caps for letting us do that, of course. The thing that I think a lot of people said at the time and aren't thinking about now is, man, I wish I had a chance to buy in 2017 at 3,000. Man, I wish I had a chance to buy in 2018 at 5,000. Man, I wish I had a chance to buy in 2019 at 8,000. Man, I wish I had a chance to buy in 2020 at 3,000 during COVID, for months, by the way. Man, I wish I had a chance to buy at 20, 30, 40, 58, 58, 58 again, 58 again, and then it gets 60, 70. I wish I had a chance to buy. This is your chance. This is when you should be raising your DCA. Is it true that you're going to have a harder time accumulating one Bitcoin now? For sure. Than you did at 2000? Of course. We all were. We were all having a good time in 2020 and 2017. That was when corn was cheap. You had to get it back then, and the risks were much greater, and you were rewarded for those risks. Now, the only thing stopping you from buying corn and accumulating a serious, life-changing amount and life-changing position is whether or not you have the capital to do so as the economy enters what will probably be a nasty downturn. If you do, great. I also want to point to one other thing, and you can maybe comment on this. I'm sure you'll have a take. I think the 4-year cycle is over. I think it's over because the ETFs are just providing a floor that we've never seen. There's no doubt about this. ETFs, on average, since the day they were started, are buying about a total of 2,000 Bitcoin a day. In the last 3 months, with the price down, they're still buying an average 2,000 Bitcoin a day. So while it is true that there's sell pressure coming, the floor for these things just continues to come up. And, there is some technical analysis and, crayon eaters out there who are talking about, wow, it's, we got to see a liquidity crunch. We got to see a cascading stop loss issue. We got to see maybe that's true. Maybe we see another 20%, 30%, 50% from here. But I really do think the days of being concerned it's going to zero are over. And so if you believe that too, then why do you care what the price is between 125 and 25? Why do you care? What is the likelihood this thing trades at $1 million US inside the next 5 years? Is it 50%? I think it's at least that high. You're getting into territory here where the amount of money being spent on projects all over the world is going to just be astronomical. You're talking about a time when a time when government and AI data centers, even if you don't like AI, let's just call it data centers, since there's going to be a need for these. Data centers, power producers, and governments all need to borrow money to do this stuff today. They're borrowing money to add industries that will eliminate their tax base. What do you think the borrowing is going to look like in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years? It's going to be a number that you can't even pronounce. We have not conceived of the number yet. This is at a time when real estate is still in the trillions. M2, if you go down to M3, you're talking 150, 200 trillion dollars. You don't need much of a push to get Bitcoin to $1 million a coin. And the pressure, like we've said on this show over the years, is coming from everywhere. It's coming from the top. It's coming from the bottom. It's coming from the sides. You name it. Everybody is trying to force you into hard assets to protect your wealth. They're not telling you that, but the policies they're enacting are nudging you in that direction. So what are you worried about? You should be buying. I'm buying. Len's buying. Everyone should be buying. Why would you not be buying right now? This is the opportunity that so many of you guys in this chat that I'm looking at, and on Twitter and on other places over the last 4 years, as we watched the price go from 5,000 to 125,000, people have been saying, I wish I had the nuts to do it. Well, find the boys now, get a hold on them, and hit the buy button. Because if you don't, you're going to regret it again in a few years. That is a promise. That is a promise.
Are you hearing this? Like talk about what's going on with Bitcoin, the price is going down, I should start selling. Have you been hearing this type of talk?
Yes.
I don't know which ETF, treasury companies you've been fucking hanging out with. Because none of them I fucking do is saying this thing. Everybody is as bullish today as they were yesterday, 6 months ago, 1 year ago, 5 years ago. I honestly, I have no idea who the fuck is not bullish today on this. Who has confidence in fiat currency over Bitcoin?
It's crazy.
If you go point to that person, I'm going to say they're a fucking idiot, because that's what they fucking are. Nobody could say, yeah, you know what, the Canadian dollar, the US dollar, I have faith in this over Bitcoin. How the fuck could you say that? You just zoom the fuck out. You see what's going on. This thing it's going to go boom one day. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it will go boom. What the fuck?
By the way, it always goes boom. It's always gone every time. It goes boom every time.
Even if it goes to like 10K or whatever a fucking number, Armageddon. Yeah, I'm still gonna fucking buy. I'm not. My mentality isn't gonna change and think, you know what? Maybe my Canadian dollar is gonna hold value over the next few years. No fucking way. I don't. It's whatever. But there's gonna be. Look, well, I don't know what the price is now. 92. Blackhawk was
there. You go.
92K as I speak. It's been a drawdown. I fear there could be more. Why? We have those miners out there. They're going to feel pressure. They're going to continue to sell the ones that the marathons and shit like that have been holding. They may want to just liquidate and take advantage of that. It's going to be more sell pressure. Then let's talk about those treasury companies, Bitcoin treasury companies.
Some of them already selling.
Yeah. MicroStrategy isn't.
No.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
I mean, he bought the most he's bought in a long time this week. So I don't know, make of that what you will. I think there's commentary about Saylor that we've obviously, pursued and explored on the show that I still feel pretty strongly about. But, like the thing I would just tell people again, like the pressure to sell is going to be pretty consistent, because let's face it, who loves when you sell? All your friends who don't own any, your family who doesn't own any. They love when you sell. Oh yeah, they fucking do. My buddies would, the group chat would explode if I started telling people that I was selling some Bitcoin to
if your average
get out of the market or whatever.
If your average buy was say 25K and you're selling at 90K, how could and I wouldn't suggest this is a good thing to do, but how could anyone, you fucking made the wrong decision for buying Bitcoin. Yeah. But in that case, you almost 4x your money, right?
Yeah.
Like it's, you can't. So like, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, fuck them all. I really don't care. Like, and then it's all this FUD that's being. I don't know what the hell is causing this downward trend. The markets haven't taken this.
Markets have been selling off. They have been selling off.
They have?
Yeah, it's been pretty widespread. Yeah. Nvidia earnings is this week, I think, right? Nvidia earnings is it Thursday? So I mean, there's the thing about earnings now, especially with the mags, is the mag sevens pretty much always beat or meet. The problem is their guidance is starting to go lower. So when you have problems with guidance, that's when the market reacts negatively. And so far, I think a lot of these companies are saying, look, you know, we're not going to be beating by 50% anymore. And the thing I fear really about NVIDIA is that NVIDIA is basically holding up the entire global economy. Like if NVIDIA has a bad day, then we'll talk about a big drawdown. Then we're talking about 80K. Then we're talking about 70K. 58K gang will be warming up the cars. You know, they'll be making the signs again, getting the memes ready. You know, NVIDIA is really the thing that's holding up the entire global economy at this point, which is nuts, but hard to dispute that at this stage.
Well, you have this week too. In this past week, there was 2 FUD events.
Yeah.
And I think this might have had a small impact, maybe a large impact. The whole Arkham research thing that's saying that Michael Saylor,
yeah,
they're selling Bitcoin and
low IQ stuff, you know, like I don't know why Arkham, and I even tweeted it like something to keep an eye on. Like these guys, what have they been right about in the last little while? We do a Bitcoin show. Presumably we'd be interested in seeing some of the reports that have proven out to be right. But I couldn't think of anything that we've actually looked at and thought, yeah, this is not only important, but correct. Can you? Going back even a few years? I can't. I cannot. I couldn't tell you.
I have no idea.
So
they say, and it wasn't a small amount. It was 47,000 Bitcoin was the number that was being thrown out. That's a fair bit. And they were like, oh, they didn't come out and say they're wrong, but somebody, Michael Saylor did. Now let's we should point out what Tom is saying in the chat here. Dudes made a fortune on Polymarket from Saylor misinformation. I do think that's true. Polymarket, me, you, and Mark were talking about it, spiked to like 75% or something that Saylor had sold Bitcoin. Was that the Delta One dude?
Well, Delta One is one guy who tweeted it, but a bunch of accounts tweeted it. Zero Hedge, I think, had it. Walter Bloomberg, Delta One had it. A few other pretty significant accounts were tweeting that he sold, and just wasn't true. Just was not true. Was not well researched, not well looked into, not anything.
It went automatically to my mute list after that, the Delta One. So, it just...
These guys just tweet Bloomberg headlines all day. You know, they don't do anything. There's no, impact statements from those accounts. They just tweet whatever comes across the Bloomberg that seems relevant.
You got to monetize the whatever you paid for that Bloomberg turn. What is it, 30K a month or something?
No, 3K a month. 3K a month.
3K? What do we fucking have one? We should
get one. Yeah.
Yeah. Could I play Doom on it?
The trade. I got to look at the TradingView Black Market deal. Every year, the TradingView Black Market deal comes up, and everybody on my feed is like, whether you just look at charts or actually use the charts to trade, the deal is just so good that you'll find yourself on TradingView way more because of the functionality. Maybe this year we'll expense an account, see what we can come up with. We'll become quants.
Well, there was one that one quant that posted that Bitcoin is going to go to 200K in the next 30 days or something. The next 40.
Yeah, the highest IQ guy. Yeah, you can count on seeing Simply, Green Candle, all the other slop accounts tweeting out split photos of the Bitcoin logo and this Chinese guy with 200 IQ talking about how high Bitcoin's going to go. It's amazing. I love Bitcoin Twitter. Speaking of which, wait till you see, by the way. Well, whatever. Wait till you see the thumbnails wait till you see the A/B testing thumbnails I'm going to use for this episode. Some of them are hilarious. I was having a fucking blast making thumbnails for this episode, but the price in the tank.
But there was another piece of FUD that came out this week too.
Yeah.
And it was the whole Jeffrey Epstein stuff in Core Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin Core contributors. The fact that there's a connection over there. And it came out this past week because the U.S. government released this information at their House Oversight Committee, right? Like, we wait for fucking years to get any sort of information. There's pictures floating around. You have this president campaigning, I'm gonna fucking release this stuff on day one. We're now on day what, like 300, and still nothing has been released. And what they are releasing is shit about Bitcoin developers and Jeremy Rubin and shit like that. come on, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, is this? I'm wondering if this is a smear job against Bitcoin as a way to help drive down the price to show that there's a connection between Jeffrey Epstein and what he's done and Bitcoin core developers. And Bitcoin core developers, they already got a lot of bullshit to deal with these days, but now you throw in this. Like, I'm just wondering if this is just, it's a calculated and it's a purposed smear campaign against Bitcoin. I don't know. It seems too much of a connection, too much of a coincidence to me. I look at this and throw this and got this negative, this price action. It's not helping things out, right? Like,
No.
Right. And then you got the CP stuff they're talking that's being held on chain.
Do you want to see the funniest?
It's a fucking pervert if you're running a node.
This is the funniest thing I've seen so far on the Epstein funding Bitcoin core. I've been following this guy Mars on Twitter for a long time. I don't know anything about him, but this video made me laugh out loud when I saw it a few days ago. This is good. Let me make sure you can hear the sound too. Hold on. Let me pull this down. Pull this off. This is such a pain. I've made this mistake doing sip and rip so many times where I start doing it and then I realize it's not catching any of the audio sound. Yeah, okay, that should do it. Here we go.
You kidding me? Epstein funding core? How am I gonna explain this at Thanksgiving? Really is all about CSAM, always has been. Only way to protect yourself, don't run a node. Leave it to the pedos. Jeffrey Epstein was Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm calling it now, bookmark. You kidding me?
Well, they did disappear at the same time. Well, when it was a few years after. Right?
Jeffrey Epstein was Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah,
it is funny to think about how the Americans are going to explain that Epstein was a Bitcoiner at Thanksgiving over a little turkey and stuffing. I love that. That's so funny. I think that yeah, Mars is funny. Boomer's saying Mars is a real one. He definitely has he has his quirks, but he's pretty funny. I do like this stuff.
I would not be surprised if there was any Bitcoin exchange during the whole island ordeal, right? As a way of moving money around without having to. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin was a medium of exchange, at least with one transaction. Now, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin is tied to this type of bullshit. No, it was just an easy way for somebody that's in a know that could easily move money around. I think that for sure there would have been something that would have been done, but core developers and like fuck that, man. I don't buy this one. Right? Whatever.
What's the poly market on Epstein being Satoshi? Is there a betting market on that? Can somebody in the chat check that out, please? Let me know.
We should create one. I'm not sure what's the mechanism to create something like this, but
we gotta figure it out. Can we get a partnership with Poly Market? Is that
no,
I don't think
man.
that would that not pass the sponsor scruples that you have? Probably not.
What's the shitcoin? Is it Poly? Is that the shitcoin you need to trade on?
I forget. I don't think they have a token. I think they just use stables.
Oh.
Pretty sure. Maybe. I don't know. The only bet I've ever placed on Poly Market was for Polyev to win the election, and Mark did it for me. I don't know how he did it. There you go.
I don't know what to say. Anyways, all right. Quick story here. I'm not sure if you follow the transaction fees in Bitcoin. It's gone down significantly. There's been a collapse in the price of, look at the fees. And I'm still telling people when you use Bull Bitcoin to use on-chain, keep Lightning on the side, but do on-chain for now, because why? Fees are low. But there's a problem with this, right? And I think this is also going to be in hand with the price of Bitcoin going down. It's going to be a collapse in profitability for mining. If you're collecting very little in transaction fees and you're relying just on the reward, and that reward and in nominal terms goes down because the price of Bitcoin goes down, it's going to make it harder to be profitable mining, and they're going to have to either close shop or I don't know. There's going to be a systemic shift with respect to Bitcoin mining if this trend continues. And not just that, what's going to happen moving forward if you're going to want to secure the network? You're going to want to incentivize somebody to mine. And I didn't suggest everybody do this at home with your 256 heat miners, of course, to help secure the network. But that's only going to be a small portion of the overall thing. So I'm wondering if this is going to be a problem moving forward if things don't change. And if they do, then that's great. But if they don't, I don't know. I'm looking at this, and this is not looking good. I don't know if you got any input on this.
I don't necessarily. I'm actually looking at mempool right now, and it looks to me like the minimum is like a sat all the way across the board, but almost nobody's paying only a sat.
Some are even paying like a fraction of.
Yeah, there's a lot that are fewer, but there's also a bunch that are higher too. Like I'm seeing, especially with the higher amounts, people are willing to pay a bit more per VByte. But
it's the people that are associated with Epstein. They want to move it.
They got to get out. They got to get out.
Yeah.
They can't wait for blocks.
They'll pay whatever.
You got to get in the next block. I don't care what it costs. Yeah, before they find out that me and Stephen Hawking were there together. We've talked about the mining thing a lot over the years, and I continue to think, and I've said on this show and other shows I've been on, and actually I plan on having a slide about mining, maybe 2 slides about mining at my World Outlook Conference presentation in a few months. It needs to be more decentralized. Like mining should be something that all the users of Bitcoin are doing, not industrial miners. And so the pressure for miners is not going to be, we need to shut off the machines and close up shop. This is why these guys are getting into HPC, because they're going to switch their firepower over to something that makes them money on a more predictable basis than Bitcoin. And it's funny, we talked about in the past, as I roll a yoga ball around here, trying to keep my knee loose. We talked about in the past how, miners are always forced sellers, but the longer we allow industrial mining to proliferate, the worse it'll get. So don't you want to see like a miner blow up now, like a broad miner blow up now, or a broad miner switch over to AI or data now, as opposed to seeing it in 10 years or 5 years? Like, I kind of just want to pull the Band-Aid off, because it is clear that the miners are going to go this direction anyway. So why don't they just all do it soon? You might actually see them do it over the next bear market, right? Like the companies that have done it successfully, Iron is the poster boy. Iron is like a rocket ship in terms of its stock price. I haven't looked at it in the last week or two, but it's done incredibly well. And part of the reasons I think they've been agile and gotten away from Bitcoin mining as the predominant messaging around their business. So I expect to see that continue. The sats per VByte thing is also reflective of monetary network use. Let's face it, if Lightning is the thing that people are using, great. But I'm not convinced that's the case either. So we got to find out what's happening here with transactions and monetary use cases and all this stuff. But for now, I'm not concerned, but I will be concerned in 2 or 3 years if it still looks like that, for sure.
Well, in a few halvings, you're going to be very much concerned.
It's the price of Bitcoin. Forget the mining reward. Like the mining reward is one thing, but think about how if the price per transaction is still low, then that means people don't value the Bitcoin. People are not asking for the Bitcoin because it's not about your willingness to spend it. Nobody wants to spend the good money. The question is, when do you have to spend it? Because it's the only thing people accept. And that's got to start accelerating in the next few years. If it doesn't, then there's
spending on chain is really not something people should do, because not just the time, but the fees involved. There's other options you could use that, looking at Lightning, that is far better for doing transactions.
Boomer saying ETFs too is going to negatively impact that. Maybe.
But that's to do with just buying it and holding it. If you're talking about transacting in it, an ETF doesn't do that. You can't even fucking redeem in an ETF. Well, actually, there's one you can, right?
Yeah.
I think about it, but who knows what the qualifications
they may add more. I don't know what the story is there. I haven't been following that closely. But
with respect to the Bitcoin, like, who cares who Bitcoin mines? And you know what? I'm thinking about the ones that have energy that is just stranded. It's probably those are the ones that are most likely. And I don't have all the information here. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but I think that the way they're probably more inclined to Bitcoin mine than use that energy to pump data centers.
Okay.
I think data centers, I thought data centers would have to be closer to, like, building it up. You have to take longer time. There's more capital. You have to have quick, low latency internet, lots of bandwidth, shit like that. For Bitcoin mining, you could be very agile. You could just throw.
Not really. No, I disagree.
No?
Because jurisdictionally, the laws prevent Bitcoin mining. They don't prevent AI, right? So there's a push now all over the place. We're seeing it in Canada, which is maybe the most difficult energy jurisdiction of all of the modern democracies, save for some of these retarded EU countries. This is one of the most difficult jurisdictions to operate in if you're a Bitcoin miner. But as a data and AI player, now you're starting to see the government become more amenable to that. And
Is
so
that for
I think that's
stranded
the thing.
energy, though? Like,
Well,
is this something
different
that is
story.
in northern? That's what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
Is this something that is in northern Alberta, which you're far away from anywhere that could actually use it? Or you could even go, if you want to use a different.
Why can't a
example.
data center use it?
I don't know. I think you can use it as long as the infrastructure is there to be set up. It just the way I always envision it, and I could be wrong. Just get those. I forget who Steve Barber. What does he sell?
Hashrates.
I think it's just easy to slap one down or slap a bunch down next to an oil field and go from there. Is there the equivalent for AI centers for data centers? I don't know. And if that thing doesn't exist, then that's why those stranded energy, anything that's stranded energy, is probably more inclined to mine Bitcoin.
Okay, let me ask something. How do you make mining the most inviting use of the time it takes you to navigate the stranded energy, procurement bureaucracy? Because you're gonna have to go through a process anyways. So how do you make mining the thing that makes people want to do it? Because right now I just don't see that as being the case. It's hard to get the miners. You have to reload all your hardware every 4 years, basically, to stay competitive.
Why would you have to reload hardware every 4 years?
You got to upgrade you got to add firepower. So
it could be every 2 years.
Well, whatever.
And it could be
like it's a lot of capex. Where AI, those chips are more easily produced, right? They're not as specialized. Like the H1000s or H2000s from NVIDIA, you can get them. I don't want to say easily, but easier than you can get fucking ant miners, right?
Do you know that if you could put on one of those trailers that have all the equipment and just
I don't know. That's
why I said I claim ignorance in that. I do know that you can with Bitcoin mining. So somebody would have to pull out a chart and look at, okay, right now we're earning zilch on this stranded energy. We're either flaring it, or we're burning it or whatever, but we could combust it, and with that we could make some money from that. Now, how much is the money? You mentioned a good thing there. The capex, it's very costly. So where's the break-even point and shit like that? And then you have to deal with the halvings every 4 years on top of that, and that's going to decrease your how much you're going to earn. And then you also have the price volatility of Bitcoin. Somebody's going to look at this. You know what? This thing is unstable, and so we can't really predict what's going to happen moving forward.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really give a shit who the fuck mines Bitcoin. If they want to do it, fine.
But I think our preferences are aligned. That I'd rather see more broad mining at different levels. Like I got a BitAxe, I got a 256 heat unit, I got whatever. I'd rather see that than another pop up.
Yeah.
But the big problem though is that now, like if you look at the OpenAI story from the last week or two, I didn't cover this in Sip and Rip, but I thought about covering it. It's just too long to really get into on a show like that. These guys are asking basically for governments to take a strategic interest in the infrastructure. And they're saying it's energy infrastructure now, but soon it will be hardware infrastructure too, under the guise of national security. And they may be correct. That may not be a bad thing, that governments need that. Like I said, I've kind of softened my opinion on that over the last month or two. But the question then becomes like, do governments who take a stake in the name of national security into AI data centers or other HPC use data centers, are they ever going to let those guys mine Bitcoin? Like what would be the rationale for a government to say, yeah, we want to have a 10% stake in your data center, 10% stake in your company, and you're also going to be allowed to mine Bitcoin when the price and the financial incentive warrants it, when it makes sense. You're going to be able to pivot here and there. I don't think that's true, but it seems to me like these guys need money, and they're going to get it from the government here, US, everywhere else, and it's another roadblock. It's another issue with the incentive structure and the laws around some of this stuff that are somehow still in Canada becoming more and more tight, as opposed to the opposite, which is what we're seeing in the States.
Well, I'm not sure if the Paris Agreement also has to. There's a lot of moving parts here that we have to deal with, and
we have to deal with. Not every government has to deal with them, but we have to deal with them.
Correct. It says a Canadian, when I say we, it's just, the nation does.
Yeah.
And you also have a government that is more inclined to deal with and to lean towards climate change and energy efficiency and alternative energies and renewables and stuff like that. So take that all into consideration. Canada's probably not going to be a major player with Bitcoin mining at all moving forward. I think that is just,
which is terrible because the climate here is so friendly to Bitcoin mining at the cold, right? But we just refuse to do it. We refuse. You know, whatever. It's fine. I got my heater. You got your heater. You guys in the chat have your heaters. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Yep.
You talked about this a few times, the slow money stuff, right? Harvard University.
Yeah.
They bought way more of Bitcoin.
I love that term, slow money.
ETF.
I can't remember where I heard that or if I made it up. I don't know, but I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it. It was another almost 5 million shares of IBIT.
They're buying. They're all buyers, Len. Like, are you not like a convert to the importance of the ETFs in the price?
No, I don't give a shit about it's asking for. It's saying that I'm happy the price is going up because there is a Pandora's box that's been opened.
My wife's here. Let's all welcome my wife, who doesn't want to be on camera.
Hello.
She's going to pottery. I gotta take the baby monitor. Thanks. You don't want to say anything? Do you know what the price of Bitcoin is? I asked her what the price is. She said super low. That's what I've been saying around the house all day. Price is way down. We're gonna have to go to the food bank soon. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. So like to go back to what when I'm happy ETFs are there, I don't really give a shit. I mean, it's opening up Pandora's box, as I said, and I can't cheer for it because it's raising the price of Bitcoin. That's not really, nobody's using Bitcoin the way it's not even fucking Bitcoin. It's fucking totally fiat. Let's fucking be honest.
People think that this is an act by you, by the way. When I went to the conference, people are like, does Len really hate? Like, do you guys really just play? Do you guys play good cop, bad cop on the show? Or is Len? I said, no, man. Len is hardcore.
I don't give. Look, the ETFs. I don't give a shit that it exists. I give a shit that people are saying this is like, I'm gonna buy into it. Like, all you're doing, anybody that does this, is you're justifying the use of fiat because you're using a fiat system. You're using the fiat, everything to do with fiat to do it. Bitcoin, if you look at all the properties that come along from it, you're stripping all the good qualities of Bitcoin except for one, which is, and I don't even know if this is a proper, is the number go up. That's it. There's no scarcity with ETFs. You can't hold it yourself. You can't verify it. You can't move it across border. There's so many fucking good things about Bitcoin that make Bitcoin what people want to buy it, and an ETF isn't it. So all the more power for Harvard for buying it. I hope they get rugged one day, because they're obviously going to use a custodial for this shit, right? Like, who the fuck's who's their brokerage? Who does IBIT hold the Bitcoin with, by the way? I mean, I don't even know.
Who knows?
Is it Fidelity? They do it themselves?
It's gotta be Fidelity.
Fucking just rug it all, man. Let's just fucking.
I just want to see this whole thing burn. Let's just set it on fire. Let's burn the underbrush here, and then get back to
start from scratch. And this is what you have to get. This every few years. You remember we went through the NFT craze, and then
that was the best. Remember we did a segment on Packy McCormick talking about how squiggle NFTs were going to be the new thing. What a retard! What a retard!
And it's bullshit. And everybody knew it was bullshit, but people still bought into it. And people got wrecked, and once they got wrecked, they realized, oh shit, there's something better. I could actually hold my own keys with Bitcoin. And now you're going through this same fucking exercise with Bitcoin treasury companies. Oh, I could buy into this. I'm going to make fucking bank. It's going to go 10x. And you're down 99% in some cases. Like if you look, I think in Naka is 99.
Naka, by the way, in trouble for another reason because it looks like they didn't get their SEC filings in on time. Like, that's disastrous, man. I tweeted that today. You can look at my timeline for that story. I got to dig into that maybe for Sip and Rip this weekend. But
a lot of companies are delayed.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like they're in big trouble. I think they're in big trouble over there. It looks like it to me.
They're going to start selling, and then you're going to have the added fucking sell pressure to Bitcoin. But what I'm trying to get at, my original point is, all this shit is just, it's something else that it's Bitcoin adjacent in a fucking shit can, and you just fucking leave it alone. Let somebody else get wrecked, because when they do, they realize, oh shit, I should have just went and fucking held Bitcoin all along, and that was the right thing to do.
What do you make of this comment here? There's a few people in the chat. I'm not going to say your names because for whatever reason, YouTube now has your @ handle instead of your screen name, but a Boomer sums it up here pretty well. Just, SH Burner in there too, talking about it. Using your TFSA to DCA into an ETF isn't a bad play if you pull the money out to buy on chain when you have a big UTXO. And then Burner saying that the TFSA and RSPs are good use cases for the ETF. This is ultimately This is ultimately at the core of the discussion. This is where we have a fundamental disagreement that's irreconcilable.
It's 100% fiat. If you have total confidence in the system, do it.
Why do you need Bitcoin at all then, right? Yeah.
Correct. And that's why I buy Bitcoin, is my confidence in the system. It continues to wane every day. And for me to buy something like that, I have to believe in the currency. I got to believe in the brokerage house. I got to believe in my bank. I have to believe in all these fucking things that could go wrong. And then I don't want to do that. I just rather just buy my own Bitcoin. I understand I'd have to pay cap gains. I understand all the bullshit that goes along with holding Bitcoin. But you know what? I have it. It's mine. And there's so much good that comes along with, like, I don't have to fucking talk about the greatness of Bitcoin, what it is. Everybody knows what it is right now. Can I strip away the good qualities?
Yeah, can I ask you at what point if the ETFs become redeemable for on chain, are you in then?
No,
it's still out.
So okay. I'm gonna first.
What is the line? Help me with the line. Show me
that I will be happy for the ETFs.
Yeah,
there is no line.
Oh,
why? So I have to keep my money in fiat.
Mm-hmm.
I have to leave it in a bank.
Mm-hmm.
I have to move that money to like Wealthsimple or whatever, and then I have to have them buy Bitcoin buy the ETF, which will then buy Bitcoin with that, and then they're gonna store my Bitcoin. Like, there's so many fucking things along the chain that could go wrong. And then when I want to get my money, say I want, thing is fucking collapsing, I need my money ASAP. I gotta sell. I gotta wait for that money to go to my bank, and I have to go get that money out of my bank. And we've seen enough times.
You have to talk to the foreign worker at the teller desk. Yeah, that too.
We've seen enough fucking evidence to show why the money is not yours. Why?
You're getting some pushback in the chat here. I'm not going to put all the comments up, but you're getting some pushback in the chat.
I don't give a shit. In the end, I can sleep good at night, and I don't give a fuck what people do. But if you ever get burned, you're gonna see me laughing on the side of the road and saying, "Look at that fucking fire over there! Look at that! That's a fucking look at that action! That's a fucking disaster!" And man. I'll be enjoying things. Do what you want, but I have, no faith in this.
Man,
the Singapore dollar
wedge, baby. No nice one. All right, where do you want to go next? Where else we going?
Even you want to know that we're at the top of the cycle? I think it's still on the way down. Is CPP bought $80 million of MSTR?
Amazing. They like that. What can you say? Are they so CPP famously underperforms? Friend of the show, Millennial Moron, talks about this a lot. We've talked about it on the program too. That was the impetus for getting him on, because I was thinking about this, and he had already put out a couple of great videos and put out a few more after we got together on CPP. They underperform everything. They don't do the due diligence, and they bought a bunch of MSCR. Now, one of two things is probably true here. Either they want the Bitcoin exposure, or they think that it's going to hit the S&P. And I think both things could be true, or both things could be false. I don't know, but I think one of those things is probably the reason. It does give me pause, though, that a pension fund that has underperformed even its own suboptimal benchmark is buying stocks that are pretty important for the price of Bitcoin long term. So I have my doubts about this. I don't love it. I don't love it. What else did they buy? What else is in that that release? Did you look at the rest of them?
No, I just saw this, and this came very late in the day for me that I saw this. I didn't have much time to investigate. But I think I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, my God, like, we're in for a real fucking downward trend. If the CPP, the Canadian Pension Plan, is purchasing MSTR, fuck, man, it's going to be like 20K by next week. That's 20K. It's going to be 20K. My
Bitcoin Treasuries, BitcoinTreasuries.net saying it. I got to look and see. Yeah, it's funny. I got to look and see what else they bought. It's not great. That's not great. I don't think that's good. That's not a good omen. You're right. That's bad. It's like seeing a black cat. You got to start thinking about what you're going to do next.
And let's talk about another top of the cycle moment. Leap Therapeutics. Previously, they were LPTX on the NASDAQ, and they have been rebranded to Cypherpunk Technologies, Inc. with a new ticker CYPH, also on the NASDAQ. And you might be knowing where this is going. You know, they're going to be a treasury company, but there's a twist with that, right?
Okay,
They're not going to be a Bitcoin treasury company. No. They're going to be a fucking Zcash treasury company, top of the cycle.
Yeah, we gotta sell. Well, we gotta end this stream. I'm getting all my hardware wallets from all over the place, and I am getting ready
just
to
fucking
sell.
selling everything.
I gotta sell, liquidate.
Remember, not too long ago,
positions.
that companies were even buying NFTs. We laughed about this.
Remember they're buying World of Women NFTs for their treasury?
Yes, that's the one, right?
That was
And
the
we were
bottom of
fucking-
the. Was that the top? That was probably about. That was like the 69K
That was top,
top.
man.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
top,
yeah.
right? This is
Yeah.
like, I'm wondering how those purchases went. By the way, like,
What do you mean? What do you mean? How
It's
did
going
it
to
go?
fucking zero, right?
Oh my god, I love it.
So,
By the way,
company's-
breaking news here. Budget 2025 passes. The vote, Len, 170 to 168.
So a few people, more than a few people, abstained.
Oh yeah,
Sounds like the whole NDP caucus abstained, right? Or am I wrong?
pretty tough. The Green Party agreed to vote for it. Not great, man. Not great. Buy Bitcoin. Canadians are gonna need it more than most, I think, over the next few years.
Buy an ETF. You know that it's going to be covered, and the bank, when you go to the bank to get it, they
They'll
have
give it to
that
ya.
money to give
They'll
it
give
to
it
you.
to
No
do you
fucking
think
doubt.
do you think if you sell your Bitcoin for fiat, the bank would give it to you? Like what do you're planning on using it? Obviously, you're not planning on selling it to fiat then using it. Okay, yeah, sure. All right.
Yeah, there's, at least for me, there's no point. Everybody's different. I have no use to sell it for fiat because then I'd have to spend it immediately. I'd rather just use that to buy whatever.
Yeah,
that's my goal.
There's
And it's not
who's
gonna happen anytime
a
soon.
crypto dad in the chat telling me we can meet and talk blockchain, bro. I don't want to talk blockchain.
No, I would love to talk blockchain with you, crypto dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know. I mean, we can meet somewhere, maybe in Burlington or something like that. I'll be more than happy to chill out with
Oh
you.
no. Oh no.
Crypto dad. If you want to, we'll have a nice chat about this.
Oh god.
This blockchain stuff. I'm curious. let me know what you put on the blockchain. Is it might interest me. Anyways, let's talk about another I got scammed post that was tossed up on the Bitcoin subreddit. And I shake my head every time I read this type of shit. And it's not like we have enough resources out there to learn from examples and how to avoid being scammed. But this motherfucker didn't. But here we are.
He's an innovator, this guy.
Oh, he's outside Kingston, crypto dad. You know what? If you want to take the trek out here west, of course, I'm not going to pay for anything. I'm going to pay for myself, and you pay for it. It'll be more.
We can't expect CBP is not lucrative enough to expense guest travel yet. Anyway, let's talk about this guy who got scammed.
Talk blockchain. Fuck that, man. No, we'll meet at the Tim Hortons nearby. And so back to the guy that got scammed. And it's another free lesson for people out there that want to learn and free education. So thank you to his stupidity. He goes by the name of on Reddit, Freshmans1, MANS1. So Freshmans1. If you want to check it out. And he writes, I was such an idiot. The scammers masked their numbers to police. I know I shouldn't have put my seed phrase on the website, for fuck's sakes. I was just caught up in the moment. They were so convincing. The second caller claimed that they were from CoinCover. Got me to type my scene phrase into a fake ledger website. Looking back, I was so stupid. If someone was telling me that this story, I would think that what an idiot to do this. Just a warning. Well, you know. So basically, he's lost everything. He obviously is a moron. It looks like he is a Ledger user, right? Because his email was somewhere online. He believed this was a Ledger website, so I assumed he had some Bitcoin, maybe some shitcoins. And what can I say? This stuff, it's fucking nuts. Like, just be very careful, right? Like, I don't know.
Never put your seed phrase anywhere.
But
never a
beyond
keyboard,
that,
never a phone call, never anywhere, ever.
Look,
ever.
We got to blame Ledger for something here because they held on to these emails and it was leaked. So I would like to get some clarification, maybe an apologies from Ledger. Maybe the What Ledger Did podcast too could give an apology as well.
That podcast is defunct now. It's defunct. I don't think they sponsor What Bitcoin Did anymore.
Finally, they made a good.
Well, because what's his face bailed? McCormick bailed. So I think that's probably enough to not do it anymore.
So this guy, I did some searching on his posts. It looks like he was a younger guy trying to start his life because he was posting a review of shopping for a wedding ring, right? And so
Brutal.
Brutal.
I hope for his sake, I hope his wife is real and not AI generated content by some scammer trying to get access to his fiat. Right? If he fell for this, maybe his wife is not real, and she's
no.
So I also want to point, he seemed like he fucked up. This is not the first time he fucked up. The first time he fucked up, and I gotta give credit, it looks like he fixed it. He said he spent all his inheritance from his lost parents on drugs and booze. And so then he said he finally cleared up his act after many years. So it looks like this guy was living a hard life.
Yeah.
And he made some poor decisions along the way. And this is
I sympathize with the story, the reclamation story, but yeah, it's tough. I hope he doesn't turn back to the poison. But
so nobody out there, nobody should enter in their 12 or 24 words on a website. If anybody calls you thinking you think it's the police, you think it's IRS, CRA, what a fucking
isn't the default response, Len, to like tell them to come to your house? Is that not a default response?
No,
like I've seen this a million times. No, like if the police want to talk to you on the phone, you say, if you want to talk to me, come to my house or I'll come to the station, but we're not talking on the phone. That should be I think that's been the case for a long time because there's been a lot of, non-crypto related cop scams over the years. And I always kind of knew that was what the recommended course of action was, right? But I guess this guy just not thinking, and tough to see.
Let's talk about last story. Wolf Capital CEO Travis Ford. This guy's going to prison for 5 years. And the problem for him is that while he was running, according to the DOJ, a fraud scheme, and he was promising investors returns up to 574% annually. I don't know. To me, that's a red flag right away. But what the fuck do I know? Anyways, so Wolf Capital Crypto Trading. It was a crypto company. It raised almost $10 million from 2,800 investors. That's an average of 3,300 per person. And between January 2023 and August 2023, he promoted this scheme where he was able to deliver returns of about 1 to 2% per day.
Is that a lot?
Well, I can see why Warren Buffett stepped down as a CEO.
What was Bernie Madoff's return?
Not even close to this, right? What does Warren Buffett try to get from his company? Or did he have like a goal of was like 5% a year?
I don't know.
Whatever it is. Like I can see why he had to step down, because this guy offering 1 to 2% per day, Buffett cannot fucking compete. His record is trash. As a result, this guy at Ford, he did what any scammer would do. He diverted the investor funds to benefit himself and his buds. And it sounds a bit like these Bitcoin treasury companies, if you ask me, and how their executives are raping and pillaging the company at the expense of shareholders. But I digress. Ford, he pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. He's 60 months in prison in order to pay $1 million. And also,
is that a long enough sentence? You think? A lot of lives impacted by that. No, it kind of feels like it's a little light. I think. What did the samurai guy get? The samurai guy got 5 years too, right?
Yeah, he did. So maybe we have a floor here. You could scam people. What did CZ get? It was like 6 months or less, right?
Yeah, he's got a lot of firepower, that guy. I'm not surprised he didn't.
Fucking Trump came with the bat for him and decided to pardon him. Didn't even know what the fuck he is. I like this guy. Man. What the fuck is he, by the way? Initials. Yeah,
not sure who he was, but he's a good guy. A lot of people telling me he's a good guy.
Well, yeah. Where's that crypto dude? I want to fucking have a chat with him.
Crypto dad is at the local Tim Hortons now. He's running a blockchain meetup.
I still want to meet you.
Boomer's not far from him, so I hope Boomer goes to see him. Boomer's a missionary out there, pun intended. Okay, let's talk about the other side of the news coin here. We are gonna break on audio till tomorrow, and we will see the rest of you guys in a second on the video side live. There's a couple hundred people watching this, and all of you are on Twitter. Go to YouTube and join the chat. The chat is buzzing. It'll be more fun for you on YouTube than it will be on Twitter. So don't be shy. Head over there and enjoy the community, the CBP community, which we've built brick by brick over the last 5 years. Anyway, we'll see when we see you.
Don't be an ETF investor.
There we go. Okay,
we go.
let's get into it here. We got a couple. There's gonna be some good notables.
You want to do the budget off the bat?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it that I didn't say in the sip and rip. I think the biggest, like, I cannot outdo Millennial Moron, and I said this on the Sunday show that, you know, he's the guy. The guy is like hyper focused on the most important things in that budget and beat not only the media to the big stories, but also the Conservative Party to the big stories. I don't know if did you listen to Sip and Rip on Sunday?
No.
Did you know that the government's new definition of operational versus investing capital meant that even though the Carney Liberals spent months campaigning on this idea that the Trudeaus were reckless spenders and the government budget was out of control and the books needed to be really tightened up, their new definition had the 2025 budget with all the old spending and no new spending already balanced, which means that all the spending the Liberals were doing was in line with what they view as investment capital. How about that? So they balanced the budget in terms of the old spending and then took on enough new spending that they're not going to, quote unquote, balance it again for 4 years, unless literally anything rocks the economic boat. There's no room for error at all. And no one picked up on that except for Millennial Moron. Nobody. And I still haven't seen anything about it. Melissa Lantzman today put out a super long article about bureaucratic processes and a video to go with it. Retarded. Talk about this investment thing. This is the big thing. And Jason Jake, the PBO interim, the interim PBO, parliamentary budget officer, going on every show still and saying, like, this is a problem. We are in uncharted territory. These guys are making up definitions. They're extremely broad, much more broad than Germany, much more broad than the UK, much more broad than any accounting definition. It's not hard to see where this is going. And I just am like dumbfounded that most Canadians don't take an interest in this. At the same time, Francois Philippe Champagne is on Steve Paikin's podcast. Paikin pitching him slow and across the plate over and over and over again. No hard questions, no research, no nothing. And it's like, what are we hoping for here? When these guys come to do interviews on the news, on whatever, like Capellos, raises her voice and has, hard-hitting intonation, but also doesn't ask good questions. Where's the research? Control F the budget, capital, investing, strategic, defense. Look for these words. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you find. It's not KPMG level accounting required to look at a budget and say, here's what the old budget says. Here's what the new budget says. Here's what investment means. And then go to Google and say, what does investment mean in the UK? Like, it's not that hard. You got ChatGPT, you got Perplexity, you got all these other tools now. No one's doing the work except for people on the internet. And so when you go to Thanksgiving dinner now or Christmas dinner as a Canadian, and you're, someone who's terminally online or knows how to do research, what do you think I can't even talk to the people around my table now. Mark Carney was the guy for the job. What are we basing this on now? I understand if you thought that before the election, but what are you basing it on now? The government.
How long have you been there?
Hold on. The government ran on the idea they were going to tighten up the books. Then they redefined what investment and what spending was, or investment in operations. And the new definition had all the old spending that was characterized as frivolous as right in line with a balanced budget. What are we talking about, man?
There's more to it. The question I asked before is, how long has he been there? Like, when did he come into power? Was
Jason
March.
Jakes or Carney? Carney's been there for 8 months now, almost 7 months. Yeah.
Now, has the price of food gone up since then?
Oh, yeah.
Have you
definitely.
noticed did you notice that the price of strawberries gone? Like, I don't know about you, but I don't buy strawberries.
We buy berries for my daughter all the time. Yeah.
You do?
Berries are expensive. They're very expensive. My wife tells me all the time. She can't believe it. I think
I don't buy it myself.
A little flat of raspberries is like $7.
See, I don't buy it myself.
Like 3 days.
That's more of somebody, that's beneath me that could buy it. I have somebody buy it for me, right? Like that shit is. But the reality is, look, the price of beef has gone up quite a bit. The price of chicken is soon going to go up quite a bit.
Yeah.
They're using these new metrics, deficit to GDP.
This is the other. This is the deficit to
GDP.
Deficit to GDP is a bad one, but let me give you a better one. Net debt to GDP.
Oh yes, including all the assets and everything.
So that includes net debt to GDP is this new metric that no one really talks about in the modern world because most of the modern world is not retarded. Net debt to GDP is different than debt to GDP. Debt to GDP is the country's spending to its outputs. Okay, fine. Whatever it owes compared to what it's outputting. That's already a bad number. Net debt to GDP is nefarious. It is intentionally misleading and it is dishonest. And everybody knows this, including Jason Jakes. He's talked about it. And I think we talked about it too, but I will reiterate here. The big problem with net debt to GDP is that it includes the pension assets in the net debt calculation, but doesn't include entitlement spending that's yet to be outputted, or healthcare, or education, or anything. So those pension assets, great for paying down the debt. But in terms of actual entitlement spending that's coming down the line, that's already been budgeted for, especially as the boomers age into their withdrawal years from their pension accounts and from the CPPIB, this is not included. It is the most backwards set of metrics I've ever seen. And Jason Jakes is trying hard when he goes on these shows not to blow a gasket, but he's getting closer. And at the same time all this is happening, Sussex has the audacity to say they're looking for a new PBO lead, and he's got to have tact and discretion. Like fuck he does. His job is to tell the public and parliamentarians what's going on. Where'd my camera go? My camera just shut off. I got to turn it back on. It's too, my camera's too hot. Yeah, it's too hot. I'm still here. But listen,
you're yelling at it, man.
I know.
You're mining too much.
I have to turn it off because it's running at 4K. I got to get it off of 4K. But like the point I'm trying to make is that if you allow this level of accounting to continue, you will cause yourself so much grief down the line as a Canadian. You have no idea how this is going to impact you.
Don't worry, Joey. You'll be able to cash out your ETFs and everything and be able to get access. It goes all back to this, right? Let's play out this deficit to GDP thing, right? The deficit this year is extremely high. One reason is, well, two reasons. They're funding a lot of these projects, these projects to help build stuff, right? Okay, that's number one. The second is they haven't had a budget released in a year and a half. So you're adding an extra 6 months on what's been done, right?
Sure,
sure. So now you have, hypothetically, you have the deficit. I don't know what it is this year, 80 billion or what was
78 billion. Yeah, 78 billion.
Next year.
And by the way, that number is going to go up.
This is what I'm trying to get at, because now you've had a year and a half worth of budget. Next year is going to be 12 months. So, and you're marking spending all this money on projects. Maybe you could front load it, because next year, instead of having 80 million deficit, it's now 70 million, which is still in its own very bad. But the deficit to GDP went down by 10 billion. So, it's trending in the right direction. It's great.
That's right.
But it's not a good overall metric of the health of the economy. It's a snapshot just year to year. That's all it is. Like, at least debt to GDP, you could compare it over a long enough period of time. Deficit, you're just comparing it year to year. And if you have a blip, it fucking throws everything off, either positively or negatively. Yeah. And now talking about things are looking rosy, the Bank of Canada came out with some reports. I don't know exactly what was said in it, but I was listening to Question Period. Apparently, they're saying that inflation numbers are within the target, and it has been for some time. But look at the price of groceries.
Hey, don't forget, Bank of Canada just abandoned core inflation as a metric. So, they're looking at things that they're not illustrative of the actual difficulties and the full economic picture. They're not, and they're doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose. Is the thing.
And now they say that salaries are going up year to year. Now, maybe they are, and if they are they going up with the same rate as the cost of what your living is? I'll let you decide that. They're saying that they're creating so many jobs. The last job report that came out for the month of October was the majority of jobs what was it? Less than 10,000 jobs.
I did this on Sip and Rip. It was
70,000 jobs were created part-time.
30,000 people adding a second job, and 1/3 of the new jobs across both.
You can't say that. Seniors. You can't say that that's a metric of success and say that jobs are good.
And by the way, Len, that's a seasonal pump too.
Yes,
those
exactly.
are not.
The Blue Jays were doing really well. People were hired to do like these. It was food and certain the type of
Totally,
services.
totally.
Look, the question really goes to is the things the way they're trending. Can this be fixed? Can you say there is a likelihood in the next 5, 10, whatever year you want to put in, can this thing be fixed? Can the boat be righted here? Can you say, yeah, this is trending in the right direction? If the answer is no, what the fuck are you doing?
The answer is no.
Then what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking you. It's not a rhetorical question.
I'm buying Bitcoin. I'm buying Bitcoin. I'm loading up on assets that are transportable, that travel well, let's say, and I'll be ready. It's fun. I have a couple of sort of signpost indicators in my life. One is my wife's willingness to discuss leaving Dundas, and although she's not necessarily warm to it, I haven't decided yet. But at some point, there will come a time when I look around, I'm sure at some point and go, yeah, this is like, I'm seeing the same signs I saw in my old neighborhood.
But where do you go?
I don't know.
That's the question. And
I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I'll cross the bridge when I come to it. Right now, the top 2 countries on my list are Poland and Hungary. I think you can escape a lot of the nonsense over there, but I would add Russia, Estonia, some of those other places that are difficult to travel to by dinghy.
Now, for Rayken in the chat, I've been pounding this fucking drum, the GTFO drum, for quite some fucking time. And I've been telling people, make the fucking preparations before things get bad. The worst thing that you could do is when shit hits the fan and you start making the moves then. You don't want to do it. You want to start making the moves today. Better yesterday, but start it today. You don't have to act in it. If the worst comes, then you at least have a plan. If the worst doesn't come, well, you at least plan for something that didn't happen. It's like you built a bomb shelter and no bomb came up. You got to plan ahead. Where to go? It's up to you. EU, I don't know, man. Like maybe the 2 you mentioned, the 2 countries.
I think I said
fucking disaster.
Yeah, I think the EU is a collapsing group, but Hungary and Poland have held their own in terms of third world immigrants and Islam and all this other shit that destroys modern worlds. And so
there's a lot more to it, though.
Yeah, whatever. But my point is that, is it going to get easier or harder as the EU starts to collapse economically and socially to continue to resist those things? It'll get easier. I think those will become very popular spots, to be honest with you.
So the problem,
I'd like to go.
The question I have is, what's the likelihood that this thing doesn't collapse in 10 years? And I think a lot.
What's this thing?
The European Union and this it's almost an experiment that's been in the works for 25 years or so.
35 now.
And I wasn't even aware of that long. It's a lot. My opinion hinges on the success of Germany and France. And France has really gone bad, and Germany has really gone.
Oh, hey, I don't know if you know this, but the IMF says Canada and Germany are the best economies in the world. So
Germany, to their credit, though, I'll have to say this: they've fucked up by closing those nuclear plants and all that. But they have decided. It looks like they're gonna, because the war is over and has been some time in Syria. They're talking about basically saying, you know what, you're no longer a refugee if you're from that neck of the woods, because you came here to escape a war. The war is no longer there. It may be time for you to go back. So at least to their credit, they're going to be doing that.
Germany, no, I think Germany's going the other direction. Germany is creating, if you listen to Sip and Rip, you'd know this, Germany creating a catalog, an inventory of young people based on their fitness level and other characteristics to prepare for a draft, according to the Wall Street Journal.
And that's what I was gonna get to that. If this thing collapses, you have now Romania that is bordering Ukraine. You have Poland that is bordering, like you have these almost buffer countries, and I don't want to call them buffer countries, but if they don't have a commitment from the whole the European Union and they're on their own, it becomes, I mean, we see what happened 100 years ago. We've seen what happened 75 years, 80 years ago, whatever the fuck it was. Like, things could repeat itself. There could be an advance of troops. People just want to take it.
There is going to be a rise of right-wing populism. If it hasn't started already, it's going to start. I mean, Donald Trump had to mention Nick Fuentes by name to the press the other day. To give you an idea, like, I don't know where we are in the continuum in terms of the conservative movement all over the modern world pushing for policies that were unthinkable 12 months ago, but we were inching closer. Now we are moving closer to these things. So yeah, I do think there's a possibility that things get nasty. And the EU is, you know, if you follow Preston Byrne, friend of the show, who's doing incredible work in the fight for free speech for American companies operating in Europe, like that guy's a fucking hammer. The stuff he's tweeting about.
And he left the UK, right? Like
he left the UK. He moved to Connecticut. I think he lives in Connecticut now with his cute little pup there. And now the EU is clamping down on free speech at crazy speed. There goes my camera again. It's clamping down on the EU at a crazy speed. Why? Because the EU knows that these policies are unpopular. And so they have no choice but to tell people, well, you can't talk about how unpopular the policies are. That we can't have that. We need these policies to pass. We can't have you guys talking about how much you hate them. That's not going to work. So it's so laughable and so predictable that all this stuff is going on now. And I think that people are realizing this, regardless of their political stripe, their age, all this stuff. Like, wait a minute. I have to tell Spotify how old I am before I go online. I have to tell Twitter that I have to take a picture of my face to go on Twitter and attach.
It's illegal to use VPNs. At least that's
you know what I'm saying. Like it's nuts. Common people are starting to realize that things are happening here, and they're not happy about it. I don't think, and they shouldn't be. They should not be happy about it. I agree.
And because there's been a lot of immigration everywhere, right? So it's slowly changing demographics, and you have a very low birth rate. And as the old people die off, and then you get really a change in how things are. That could also be a change in votes over a period of time.
Totally.
It may not happen immediately, but you wait, you know, as certain people have more kids than others, and you know, after a couple of generations, it's holy cow. And Sweden is an example of this, of how things have changed over there. And they're in the EU, and once you're in a EU country, you have a passport, you can go to any. There's little resistance to go to another one. You still there, Joey?
Yeah, oh yeah.
There's little resistance to go to another one. You could easily go and live and work in a different EU country if you have a passport, a EU passport. So, like the example is the Roma, the Gypsies, right? They now they're in Canada too, right? They've come here to do their craft. But they're a nuisance for certain. Like you go to Italy, for example, they're fucking. Ben Johnson was robbed by
and
he couldn't chase them down after. It's just whatever. It is what it is. I want to mention the UK. We talked about them, and I just want to give them credit here because it's turning into a case study. And they have a population of about 70 million as of mid 2024. So it's gone up, you know, I would imagine a little bit since then.
Significantly. Yep.
Maybe in a year. I don't know how much. Well, maybe a million. Anyways, we'll call it 71 million. So the Department of Work and Pensions, they indicated that the number of people on universal credit, aka welfare, is now 4 million people. If you do the math, that's around 5% of the population that are not working. And they also conclude the number of foreigners that are claiming this welfare is at a record $1.24 million.
Who could have seen this coming? Christopher Hitchens is rolling in his grave right now. Continue.
So the government, they announced this week that it's launching an independent review into the rising number of young people not working or studying, many of whom are not collecting benefits at all, but instead becoming economically inactive straight after education. So they just leave after they finish education. They don't decide to work or anything, and they started collecting this universal credit. My God.
It's a mess. They're NEETs. I think the term is NEET, right? Not in education, employment, or training, I think is the term that you'd use for those kids. They just don't care. They're apathetic. And by the way, like, why there's videos of migrants playing PlayStation 5s and eating four-course meals in hotels for free. Why the fuck, if you were an 18-year-old, 19-year-old in Britain, would you not just become a roadman? You know, how's that slang for people in the chat? I still got it. I'm not unk status yet. How about you just become a roadman and hang out in the street, smoke darts, harass people in an Adidas sweatsuit all day and leech off the state? Why should you not? If you come over in an inflatable raft, you get to play Call of Duty all day in a hotel. Well, like, why do I have to work? Why do I have to pay for school? Why do I have to take on debt? Why do I have to live in a 10-man apartment building, in a 10-man apartment? It's ridiculous. Normal people are opposed to this stuff for good reason. Why are we still pretending? Why are we still pretending? We should not be pretending, okay, that this is not happening anymore. And this is ultimately the problem that governments are contending with now, that the normal people are tired of seeing this shit every fucking day, every fucking hour, every fucking minute. Stories about, oh, food banks are overloaded. Someone goes down to the food bank, takes a video. It's all immigrants. I can't get a job anywhere. There's no jobs. Or you go to Tim Hortons, someone takes a video. It's all Indians. You go, the hospital's packed. I can't see a doctor for 20 hours. Someone takes a video of the hospital. It's all newcomers. Like everyone is fucking sick of it. They're sick of it. And why should they not be? I continue to say this on Twitter. I will say it on the show. The people in charge have no understanding of the information environment in which they are operating, and it is costing them dearly in terms of support. And when you lose support, you don't just lose votes, you lose cohesion. That causes revolution. If you want to know what that looks like, ask some Europeans from the 50s. Ask them in the 60s. Ask them in the 70s. New York, Seattle, this is the start. Okay, these guys are electing socialists. Mamdani's a bad one. Katie Wilson in Seattle lives with her parents. She's 43 years old. Mayor. This is how it starts. And you know how it ends already. You have to be prepared.
Let's talk about the Canadian justice system again. We talked about
I'm already worked up enough. I had 2 coffees today after 5 o'clock because I thought I was going to be up talking to Phil till 10 o'clock, and now I'm not. And so I'm just unloading here. I'm absolutely unloading.
Well, get ready.
Keeping an eye on the monitor, making sure that my voice doesn't go too loud that my daughter wakes up and she's like a light.
Clear those lungs because you may start yelling. This guy, he's a Mohawk man. He named Jesse Garlow, and he's a convicted drug trafficker. And he was essentially freed after being caught in possession with weapons. The man was discovered driving around Peterborough with a crack pipe in his lap. And not just that, a loaded and prohibited modified military-style rifle described as by the judge as a quote-unquote killing machine in the back seat. Not only that, he had a fucking flamethrower in the trunk. So the judge noted that the rifle
he's out
was
on
designed...
bail. He's out on bail already. I can already see where this is going.
The judge noted that the rifle was designed solely to, quote, maim and or kill in a spray of bullets. And was in the possession of shit that's antithetical to norms of Canadian values, because obviously we don't like this type of stuff, and they just banned this stuff not too long ago, this type of weapon. But yeah, he's able to have this modified thing. So the courts decided to try him, and the prosecutor's demand of a 3.5-year prison sentence was rejected by the courts. He was given credit, 516 days in jail. So for the pretrial, he was given credit, resulting in a suspended sentence, Joey, and 3 years probation. And the decision for declaring Garlow was, quote, personification of intergenerational trauma.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Citing
All right.
Let me finish this.
All right.
Citing his personal history, including his father's cultural damage from the residential school system, the murder of both his grandfathers, and his own descent into drug abuse and crime. So the judge determines these factors, and they say that it drastically lowered his moral responsibility. She stated that the punishing him further.
Sorry, she?
Yeah, Judge.
There's a pattern emerging here.
Justice Brenda Green. And so she stated that punishing him further, quote, for the sake of the common good would be unjust, quote. So reducing the sentence would not be a soft on crime thing, but rather a obligation to address, redress, and hopefully institutionalize the abused persons here. So it's a very interesting case, and he's now out and about at 516 days in jail was enough. The guy had a flamethrower, and a modified military style weapon.
Yep.
After being convicted for drugs, he was out, did his punishment for So he's already criminal. So imagine if I got caught with this kind of stuff, and I don't have a record. I'm wondering
you'd be locked up for life. Why are we not just executing people publicly? Can we? I'm serious. There's a point to be made here about public death, and it's not harsh in a way that's any different from the things that somebody might experience at the hands of this fella down the road. He will almost certainly commit another crime. It will almost certainly be one of violence, and it will almost certainly destroy a family. So why are we not publicly executing people like this? Again, we need to make an example out of a few people, right? This is all it takes. There's a significant thing to be said for the chilling effect. Criminals have no fear in this country, none. I am friends with many police officers, and they all agree that something needs to be done in terms of deterrent, and the law no longer provides that. That is the role of the law, and crime and punishment are a pair because of the deterrent factor. If the punishment is no longer a deterrent, then what is? It's not self-defense. I can't use a gun on my property. I'm still waiting to hear what happened to those guys who broke in and the homeowner stabbed him or took a swing at him with a knife or something. So that's not a deterrent. Jail's not a deterrent because these guys are living in Club Med a lot of times. Like I look down on Barton Street there in the Hamilton jail. I've got a buddy who was in there for assault. I won't tell that story, but he was telling me that it really wasn't that bad. You just make friends with people and you're just killing time, basically playing hacky sack and eating decent meals and doing push-ups. Like, okay. You have to publicly execute people. There's nothing left if we don't start doing that. We're talking about people. There was a news report or a police report a little while ago about a guy who was released into the community in Canada. He's a pedophile. Like they post this picture and say that he's a high risk to reoffend. Why is he out? Why isn't he hanging? Guys who are committing crimes and killing people in their homes while he's on bail. Why? Well, institutional racism. Kill him. There's this meme about we can fix everything by just flipping this switch. And all the quotes around the switch in the picture are, well, don't even talk about flipping the switch. We don't want to hear about the switch. Only extremists mention the switch. The switch is from a time past. We can't talk about the switch. We don't really want to fix everything. What does fix even mean? We're not sure about this. Don't go near the switch. Don't mention it. The switch can't be brought up. We need to flick the switch. The switch is serious punishment publicly for serious crimes. Because otherwise, Len, what is the outcome? It's people getting killed. It's people getting killed on roads, people getting killed in their home, people getting killed at their stores, people getting killed while they're walking, people getting stabbed while they're taking their dog out. It's not just here. It's in the UK. It's in Germany. Can't have a Christmas market. Can't have a public gathering. Can't go to church. Can't go to school. Why? Because you might die. Like, at what point do we start hanging people in the town square? And yeah, you can say whatever you want. Like this video, I don't know, maybe it'll circulate, maybe it won't. But my point is that if you don't punish people for their crimes in a way that is proportionate for the damage they are doing, not only to your society, but to the people who are victimized, killing kids, diddlers, you name it. If you're not getting punished, then what are we doing? What is the whole point of the system if not to punish these people? We're not trying to rehabilitate them. This guy is not going to suddenly no longer have a problem with his generational trauma in a year. He will still have the flamethrower and the modified weapon. Like, what is the fix there? And I don't understand what we're doing anymore. It's frustrating to me. I'm paying taxes to live in a place where violence is encouraged. The encouragement is implicit with the lack of punishment. So what the fuck is going on? What are we supposed to do?
I think we should move to the next story. I don't have an answer for that.
Oh my God. No opinion again? I'm out there.
No, because we have the Cowichan tribes. They are urgently seeking financial help from the federal government.
I love this story too.
Clean up a massive illegal landfill on their reserve near Duncan, BC. And this is an environmental disaster, and it's poisoning the local environment. It's a quote unquote mountain of waste on Indian Road, and it's including, we lost you again, Joey. It's including construction waste, industrial waste, and even dangerous concentrations of heavy metals like arsenic, lead, and zinc. And yeah, so the environmental reports that this is very toxic and it could leach into the nearby Cowichan River, and it could threaten the groundwater and anybody that's relying on that for sustaining life. And the estimated cost for remediation is up to around $5.3 million. And they want to have the federal government help and provide payment for this. And Ottawa, I guess, is mulling this over for right now. And they're saying that the tribe is saying this is a long overdue responsibility by the federal government. Also of note, the Cowichan tribes received a total, this has been reported, at least I can't confirm this, they received a total of nearly $560 million in federal funding from 2017 to 2025. That's including $93 million in 2023 and $94 million in 2024. Keep in mind these numbers. I said $560 million since 2017. According to Google, the Cowichan tribes have about 5,500 members, according to 2024 data.
Can they take turns picking up the garbage for a few years? The best quote from this story, I'm trying to find it on my Twitter feed here in between trying to cool my camera down. It's funny. I was talking to Ben and a few other podcast people on Telegram the other day, and we were talking about overheating cameras. Now here I am breaking every rule I have about making sure my camera stays cool. The best part of this story is the quote from one of the band leaders that says, this is not just a Cowichan issue to clean up and fix. It's a federal issue. I don't fucking think so. You want to talk about land that belongs to you, that no one's allowed to operate on. You're blocking pipelines, maybe not you specifically, but your tribes people and your colleagues are blocking pipelines and economic development. You're taking money at all turns with your hands out. You fix it. And if you want the government to fix it, you sign the land over to the federal government. They'll fix it for you, but they're going to own it after that. That is the cost of doing business in the real world. Not this.
Don't
nonsense.
be a decel, Joey. Don't be a fucking decel.
All right.
Talk about this. It's close to home for me. In Oakville, we had a power outage. This, nothing crazy about that. But the reason for this power outage was due to a stolen transformer. And Halton police are investigating a stolen transformer that led to the Oakville's, this neighborhood in Oakville, in northeast part, that was had a power outage. And according to police, this took place in November 6th. And police came out and realized, holy fuck, the transformer was stolen. And the transformer is a lot of copper and shit like that. So they took all this. Apparently, the theft is over $5,000. They say the pole was cut down to access the transformer, and there's no suspects available right now. This is, I love this. It reminds me a bit. This is like a story from 20 years ago. On the 427, that's a highway in the west side of Toronto, when the price of steel started really going up, thieves went out and started stealing the covers for the sewers. And they did this on the fucking highway too. If a car came in at like 100 kilometers per hour and hit it with the tire, they would have spun out and just rolled or whatever. It would have been disastrous. But it's reminded me of that. Like when shit goes up in price and people aren't being punished, as you mentioned 2 stories ago, it gives them incentive to take stuff. And
it's a free for all. It's a free for all everywhere. Like, what are we talking about? Well, maybe next time, if you don't want the transformer stolen, or if you don't want any issues, leave the keys to the transformer there. Leave a decoy transformer on your porch or whatever. Find a way. You guys can do it. You take the advice that you're giving out. I have no sympathy. Fuck them.
Speed cameras are now done in Ontario as of November 15th. They're no longer allowed in the streets. And some people are pissed because they're saying this is a good way to deter speeders. And the Doug Ford was saying this was strictly a cash grab. I
got my window open because my camera's overheating and I'm just fucking screaming unpleasant things. People can probably hear me on the street. Okay, go ahead. Can't wait.
So Ford was saying this is a cash grab, right? I'm not sure which side of the camp you believe. This is either a cash grab or it's helping deter drivers. But once he said we're going to get rid of this, Toronto City Council unanimously voted to ask the province to reimburse the city for road safety programs after the speed cameras are gone. So I guess it was a cash grab.
Yeah.
I guess
Olivia Chow has the intestinal constitution to stand up in front of a camera and a microphone and say that they're going to lose 1,000 jobs if they don't get the speed cameras back. Like, it's a moneymaker for you, and you're spending the money before you have it. It's not deterring drivers from speeding, obviously, if it's making money. So that's the other thing, right? Well, it's making us so much money because drivers are speeding. Well, then it's not deterring anyone. Like what? Like these guys, again, they don't think, and they just talk and talk and talk without considering the things they're saying, because they've never had to deal with Len and Joey on Wednesday berating them for being stupid. But like, they are stupid. They are stupid. This is a stupid thing to say. It's a stupid thing to say. And Ford is right for getting rid of those speed cameras. They're dumb. They're so dumb. They cause problems because people are driving at pace with traffic, and the speed cameras pop up in your map, and your map says speed camera ahead. You fucking hit the brakes, or you see the speed camera, you fucking hit the brakes, and you're like, okay, well, now I'm causing traffic jams. That's an issue too. The same way, by the way, that cops that are operating speed traps are causing traffic issues. I believe that is the case too. That those guys, when they're hiding under bridges and stuff, and people see them last minute on the Lincoln Alexander Parkway here in Hamilton, they go from doing 105 to slamming on their brake and going 80 in the fast lane because they don't want to get a ticket. Like, that causes problems for traffic.
What about that guy not too long ago was using his rollerblades in the link?
See that guy? He's
so you gotta slow down traffic for that dude, right? Or else you're just gonna be fucking wiped afterwards. Anyway,
let's how many more before Brampton Hamilton? Because this camera, I can tell, is gonna overheat.
No, it's now we're doing.
Let's do it. 256 Heat is a sponsor of this segment of the show. If you want to heat your house, okay,
he's hot.
Use 256 Heat. I don't know why people are not using them. Tuan is selling so many of these goddamn things that he's traveling around the province installing big setups for people. In no small part thanks to you guys who are buying them. I cannot stress enough how great these units are, and everyone should have one of these. If you don't, I don't know why you don't, especially with the price low now. You may find that you get a little bit more firepower on the mining side if people are shutting off their miners. It's good, man. It's good. I love it. Yeah, take the ride in the chat. If you want to heat your house, you can also buy this camera, the ZVE 10. Maybe me and Len are always talking about what we should buy on Black Friday for the show. Maybe the answer is buying like a camera fan or something. I don't know. Not sure. Think about that. Yeah. The problem is I was using USB for a long time because I broke my capture card. There it goes. I broke my capture card cable, and I just got a new one in the mail. And so this thing is running the CamLink card now, and it's getting hot. Obviously, I have to figure that out. But anyway, okay, Brampton or Hamilton? I'll close the chat. Here we go. Let's rip it.
So this man, it's kind of a sad story, but I like the way the method in which he used to do the deed. He killed his dad with a crossbow.
This is the lead up to the story.
Yeah. So this man killed his dad with a crossbow, and he's gonna face life in prison after pleading to second-degree murder. I can't believe this guy gets life in prison, but the other guy with the flame.
What about his generational trauma? Does he have any?
That's the thing. Yeah, well, he says he's very sorry for what he did. He apologized to his family for the pain that he caused them, and he wanted to let them know that at the time of release, he's at the time this was released, he was a very different man, and he hopes to be a better man moving forward. And this guy was 23, he was charged with first-degree murder, and he pleaded guilty to second-degree murder with the consent of the Crown. And he won't be able to get parole for 13 years because, this is a fit and proper judgment according to Justice Paul Sweeney. So this guy, in February 2024, was waiting outside his dad's home in a rented SUV. When his father came home, he confronted him and shot him twice with the crossbow before fleeing in the SUV. Police arrested him 2 days later.
Isn't it hard to reload a crossbow?
I think so, but maybe the first one, he might have got him, and he's just, what the fuck happened? Like, who shot me with a crossbow? I'd be stunned too. And so so apparently this guy was claiming that his father was abusive in his lifestyle, and he's doing shit that is against his beliefs. And his father, 56, worked as a welder. He was pronounced dead at the hospital about an hour later. And that's a story. This guy shot his dad. He had enough of him, and he decided to use a fucking crossbow to end his life. So that's story number one. Story number 2 is a little shorter, but this delivery driver is facing charges after alleged sexually assaulting a customer in their home. And this happened.
Just wrap it up. I already know the answer. You finished the story, but everybody already knows the answer.
So this happened in April 3rd in an apartment, and this guy was working as delivery driver. He entered into the woman's
delivery driver. This
apartment.
has never been easier on this show.
Under the guise of using the restroom, so he decided, you know what, I'm gonna take a piss. By the way, I'm gonna fucking sexually assault you at the same time. And so yeah, so he sexually assaulted her before leaving the unit, and the police believe there may be other victims. 29-year-old this dude was caught and charged with 1 count of sexual assault.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 stories. Okay. I was going to use another story that was very famous this week, but I couldn't because you would have known about it. So I had to go to call an audible and use this one. So if people are crying, why didn't you fucking use the very famous story? There's a reason why. Joey would have guessed right away. Anyways,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, obviously the sexual assaulter is the Brampton man. That's a no-brainer. Delivery driver, sexual assault. He's checking all the boxes. Was he wearing sandals too during the incident? Was there any like ring camera footage?
Doesn't say, but yeah, the guy charged. Did it give his name? No, it does not give his name. But the other guy, God, he. Let me see. Pull up the article for that one. The guy with the crossbow, Sukraj Chima Singh. I got his name.
But he's a Hamilton man.
He's a Hamilton man. Yeah, he shot his father. Yeah.
How old is that story?
2024.
Wow. Yeah, I forgot about that if I read it at all. Like good find by you. That would have been a good one if you were saying to me that. Yeah.
I'm not naming names.
Guess not.
Yeah, there was the bus story. You heard that bus story, right?
Of course. I've been talking about it with everybody. The HSR should hire that guy. I was a big time bus user in high school because most of the schools we played basketball against were other places in the city, and my parents were working. So at 2:30 or 2 o'clock, you get out a little early from school. If you're on the team, get on a city bus and off you go.
This guy was
got to go to Cathedral, got to go to
stops,
BR. Yeah,
right? He was still making stops.
He was on track, on schedule. And I think the story, so I have a source at the city. And the story is that the guy who took the bus was a passenger of the bus leading up to the theft. And the reason he took the bus, is this in the story?
No, but this I was aware.
The reason he took the bus is because the driver was taking too long during one of his breaks.
And did you watch the episode on Seinfeld when Kramer was talking about he saw a bus driver was being mugged and then he was knocked out. So Kramer decided to take control and he was driving. Did you remember this one or no?
I've seen it. Yeah.
He was talking. Yeah. This is exactly the same thing. He was driving the bus. Kramer was driving the bus and he was still making the stops, just like this fucking guy. Right. So this guy is the modern day Kramer. This guy took the bus and he's fucking making all the stops because people were ringing the bell.
I love it. That's it.
Apparently people were telling me he was going the wrong way. He had to detour and stuff. He went on from Maine to King or something.
He got everybody to their stops. I didn't hear any complaints. People on Reddit agree with me. If the guy was on time and polite, give him a job. Let's not reprimand him. I don't know what kind of generational trauma he's got, but I hope he's got some.
He'd be a non-union member, right?
Yeah, I think he's a contractor. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So that's it. We're out of here. Good night and God bless you all. Thanks for coming.
Oh,
this was a well-attended show, by the way. I see.
No, before we end it, okay. I just want to say, Joey, next month we have coming up Christmas. Now, for people out there that are still listening and watching,
everybody's
I'd love
watching
to know
and listening still.
Some suggestions because what I envision, this is the way I want to do it, Joey, and I'm going to throw it out there for everybody. This is basically, we're behind the scenes here, but we'll do it in front of the camera. Well, there's a bunch of different stories: Hamilton versus Brampton, and name a few, like Edmonton versus Calgary. I just want to know which cities you want to be covered in that's gonna be the whole show. It's gonna be one versus another.
Do whatever you want. If you find 40 minutes worth of those stories, I'm in.
But Joey, you do a few, I do a few,
yeah,
and we go from there.
Sure.
So we could do like Victoria versus Vancouver. I don't know.
But you want me to find a few to give you?
Yes.
Okay.
So
sure.
we each have a few to throw to each other, but I just want to know which towns or cities you want to be thrown up head to head. Windsor has to be on there.
Windsor's got to be there. I think we got to go out to like Calgary. I would say, yeah. Sault Ste. Marie be a good one. Surrey, good one.
Yeah.
Like
I need to know.
like the GTA has a few good ones too. Like you could do like Oshawa versus like Coburg or something. Those would be good. There's probably we got to scour the local newspapers for like small town crime stories and see what we find.
I want to know like which ones you want to hear.
You pick. I don't care. I'll pick mine. You pick yours, and we'll go head to head. I'll build a scoreboard overlay.
I want the people to.
Cornwall's a good
I want
one
the
too.
people to give us suggestions, and we run with that.
Okay.
This is a show for the people, dictated by the people, and we'll do it right.
Okay, you guys tell us then. We'll take your
We already have the Hampton versus Brampton men, and that's going to be in there. But if you know what, if you have suggestions, send them our way, and then we'll divvy it up over here, and we'll go from there. That's going to be our Christmas episode.
Yeah. Okay, great. Let's do it.
Yes.
All right. Let's break. See you guys next week, I guess. Until then, take care of yourselves.
And don't be a Hamilton versus Brampton man.